Okay, hello guys, welcome to this nice long podcast. Some of you may know me as Storpey. If you don't, then welcome, I am Storpey. My name is Steve and I do videos on YouTube. I play games, usually scary games, and I tend to get quite immersed in them and scream and shout and swear, and lots of people seem to enjoy it. So yeah, please go and check them out. But I am here this evening to interview two lovely gentlemen from the Wales Comic Con. If you're one of my fans, you'll know that I went to the Wales Comic Con in 2012, and they've got what sounds like a really awesome packed one lined up for 2013. So I'd like to introduce them. We have Jay.
Hello.
And we have Dave.
Hey guys.
Which almost rhymes. And yeah, they're going to be just sort of explaining a little bit about the Comic Con and what's going to happen next year, how this year went, all that kind of thing. And it's all very exciting.
Absolutely. More exciting than you can ever imagine.
There you go. Word from the horse's mouth. Yeah, well, anyway, first of all, Jay, just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would, please.
Oh, one of them moments, is it? Right, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some of you may know me from tweeting me, Facebooking me, emailing me, bombarding me on the forum. It's all good fun. I've been doing Comic-Con for, 4 years now. This was our 5th show, and it was absolutely insane. We couldn't have asked for a greater turnout, really. I've been doing it with family and friends now. I've seen it grow, and Dave, who's in here with us as well in this lovely interview, he will tell you, it's one of those we just couldn't. We could never imagine the crowds that showed up on the day, which was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just cut you off there, Steve. Don't mind me.
I don't mind you. Don't worry.
Oh, good. For those who don't know me, I'm Dave. I'm pretty much Jay's right-hand man these days in the Comic Con. I've been to 3 now. I think this was my 3rd this year. I came down as I know Jay personally. And he asked for some help, and I came down, I helped out, and he seems to like what I do, so I hung around, and it was yeah,
he never went home.
I never went home.
He's been in the university for 3 years now, without the degree though, just hanging around for the next event.
If you knew how true that was. So yeah, no, as Joe was saying, this year it was a fantastic turnout, somewhat of a challenge for us. As we just did not expect all these people to be turning up, and
well, exactly. I mean, you must have had a lot of planning to do to try and get this one off the ground, kind of thing. And I mean, anyone knows I went to it and I had a really, really blooming good time. So everyone will be able to tell you how good it was. But I mean, you guys must know yourselves how well it went for you, kind of thing.
Yeah, we went into it really. We build it year on year, and you have your audience attend, and we sort of estimated between sort of 1,000 and 1,500. We would have been over the moon with that. To go outside at sort of 10:05 in the morning to see the queue. I mean, I rolled up about 8:30 that morning, and I was a little excited because we had a lot of pre-orders, and I thought, maybe there'll be some keen eager beavers, and I got there and there was nobody except for the caretaker just kind of opening up. And I was like, oh, this guy must have a ticket, and yeah, so I went in and thought this is how the day's going to go, and then we got out at 10:05 later on, and the queue was just down the block, and the guys did a fantastic job, I think, handling everything that we had. We'd only planned for about 1,200 to 1,500 people. We ended up with just over 3,000 throughout the actual course of the day.
And you got them all in and out?
Yeah, it was one of those. We had to do it obviously for health and safety reasons. It was literally one in, one out kind of thing, almost like a parachute sort of member of the RAF. But yeah, we got everyone in. Everyone was happy that waited around, and everyone that went in had a great time. All the guests were happy to meet everyone as well. And I believe even some of the guys went out to the queues and were giving out sort of sweets and stuff like that. Some of the guests on the day were meeting some of the fans as well, and obviously appreciate them waiting around in the cold for the sort of the event itself.
It was actually John Billingsley who went out giving all the sweets.
Oh, was it John? Was it?
Yeah, it was John. Yeah, you guys probably know him as the Doctor from I can't remember the character's name now. From Enterprise, the Star Trek prequel to all the series.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I mean, yeah, no, it certainly seemed a success to me, and obviously you're sort of looking to sort of expand your horizons and try and make it bigger and better for next year, I would imagine.
Yes, we've got the dates penned in now. Literally after people will be seeing this, hopefully for the first time over the weekend, we're announcing everything, including the date, the venue, and we've looked around everywhere. Obviously, the first thing that hit us was where can we put this event on locally, because that's what people wanted. People wanted us to stay in the area, wanted to stay in Wales, and stick with it. I think it was a great thing.
Keep to your roots, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people enjoyed an excuse really to come over the border in many circumstances. We sold tickets around the entire UK. We went throughout Europe, in Switzerland, Norway, Sweden, Holland, and even America and Japan. So as Wales gets put on the map more and more with things internationally, the Rugby World Cup was a huge example of that as they got to the semi-finals, I think it was. There's a lot of other things. Again, in pop culture, media, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit right now, it's got a lot of Welsh roots, and people look to that. So people have found it a good thing, a very different show to go to, a very intimate show, they call it. I think one person classed it as the cutest convention they've ever been to, and they couldn't believe that I was walking around smiling, which I thought was quite a nice thing to say. Not that I didn't think other people didn't smile at these things, but yeah, so we're sticking at Glyndŵr. We're actually moving a lot of things around. We're moving things like the photo shoots into an actual arena themselves. We've got a lot more in terms of exhibitions, things like that, and the talks are actually going into a big 2,000-seater hall in the William Aston Hall this year, so that's going to be a lot bigger. We're spreading around the campus. Like the bigger events in America do, they have it in quite a few different rooms and venues in one place. Obviously, we're going to have things like maps and that available for people, so you do not get lost on the campus. So we're looking to expand there and stay where we can. We did go a few places within the area. They didn't have the kind of capacity to cope anything more than we already have. And again, the functions that Glyndŵr has for us, for talk facilities, things like that, it seems great, and certainly travel links as well. It's a massive plus for us, and I know everyone loves free parking, so.
We certainly do. You can just confirm the Glyndŵr, that's a university in Wrexham, right?
Yes, that's the university. It recently got university status in the last few years, and we are going to be holding the show on Sunday, April 28th.
Beauty. And April the 28th, everyone put that in your diaries.
That's an exclusive for you, Steve. There you go.
Exclusive right here, right now.
It's not actually been announced yet, but now it has, I guess.
I know before all the rest of you. Ha ha. Awesome. So, as this year was such a hit, certainly I thought it was, next year presumably you have some huge plans for guests and for events going on at the venue and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a number of guests already confirmed, which people will obviously see in the announcements later on our forum. We try and split it up. We try and keep everything active, the forum, Twitter, Facebook, everything. So you may see different announcements all over. But if you can't get into one space, obviously everyone else will probably shout out and tell you anyway who we've got. But we've got about 10 guys from media and film. We've got a handful of artists and writers. We're trying to get into other fields like sports and wrestling that, not necessarily you would see at everyday conventions. But the argument I say is, well, why would you not want to meet someone like that? For example, I'm a football fan as well as being, a fan of obviously the movies and everything else, but you wouldn't necessarily associate them together a lot of the time if you stereotype a football fan. But I love meeting all the heroes around the different shows that do it, so I just want to bring that for people as well,
So a bit more diversity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key, I think, to running a good event these days is the diversity and thinking out of the box. And I think we did it massively this year with, first of all, 8 members of the cast from Game of Thrones, including 3 first-time signers. And then we also had, for example, Tom, who came over from the American Pie movies. If you go to an event, usually, I say usually in inverted commas, it is sci-fi and fantasy and all that. But again, people want to meet these guys from the movies, so we went there and spoke to Tom, and he was up for it, and he'd never done an event before, and he came over and had a great time, and then did obviously a gig on the back of it, and a few tour stops around the UK. So it is all about the diversity, as you say, and trying to find that little niche, because there are so many events now popping up around the UK, and the UK alone, if you compare the size of it to America, we're probably on par for events in terms of numbers. But it's one of those, you've really got to keep going and keep finding something fresh and new each year.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be a bit sort of tough to try and sort of top each time. But
I don't know what we're doing this year. Yeah, this year is going to be crazy. I know the Game of Thrones guys was a big hit, so.
Well, exactly. I don't suppose you're able to give us a sort of, a little sneak peek at any potential guests or anything?
A little sneak peek. All I can say is, for the guys that are wrestling fans, we should have some juicy announcements for you there. Game of Thrones fans will certainly be happy, along with the guests and a few other things that we're getting brought along to the show. And we're hoping to have a few exclusives in terms of clips from other TV shows and movies.
Awesome.
Well, I've just learned something there. Cheers.
So it's all cutting edge stuff there, basically.
Yep, always cutting edge, and we'll get as many as exclusives as we can in here for you, Steve. And also the Joss Whedon fans should be happy this year as well.
Well, that's music to my ears. I know I'm definitely a massive, massive Joss Whedon fan, so yeah, that sounds good to me. You'll have to tell me afterwards who you've got on your books, and we won't share it with the rest of the crowd.
We'll go in a private chat later on. We'll have a private call later.
Oh, my private chats are always good fun. Presumably. The venue, obviously, the Glyndŵr University is a fantastic venue. Like you said before, people described it as quite intimate, all that kind of thing. How are you going to make sure that doesn't impact on the numbers you saw last time?
I mean, that, like I said earlier, that was the first thing when we sat down and reviewed everything, was obviously the overwhelming response that we had, which was fantastic, first and foremost, that people showed they're willing to travel, not only just to London and Birmingham and other places like that in the UK, but to a place in North Wales, which doesn't really get that many events held here. There's no unique exhibition centre. So we kind of looked at it, and like I said, we've been around places, had a few scat arounds, different venues, but it always kept coming back to Glyndŵr. Now, we've expanded in a few other rooms already, and with us going into the William Aston Hall, that already gives us, a 2,000-seater venue for the talks alone. There's other options in terms of screenings for sort of movies or projects that people are working on, whether it be any of the guests that are in attendance, any sort of promotional material that we come to work together with people, or even short or indie movies that people approach us and we just want to help out and support. So there's a lot of different things like that which I think are great on the campus, and there's different rooms that we can do makeup studios, different options like that for people. I know we were meant to have a Walking Dead studio this year. Unfortunately, they had to cancel for work commitments at the last stage, because they actually work obviously in the film TV industry as well. So we're hopefully going to get that back as well this year, and give just people a massive taste more than what your average show is. It's not just about meeting the guests as such in one room. Go into the other rooms, find out in the other arenas what there is, the photo shoots, the exhibitions, the studios, the film showings, the Q&A panels. It's about expanding, and as you said, again, it comes back to being diverse about it all.
I was just thinking, I was going to say diverse was exactly the word I was going to use.
It's your favourite word tonight, clearly.
Absolutely. Guys, you want to come to the Wales Diverse Comic Con, then come along on the 28th of April. Yeah, no, sounds terrific, and I mean, presumably that will be going on through most of the day, kind of thing, like previously.
Yes, the day obviously consists majority-wise of autograph signing sessions, obviously all the stalls we have available selling all the cool kind of stuff that they have. And then you have obviously your staggered events like your photo shoots and your Q&As throughout the day. And again, the studios and the workshops will all be open, and things like the movie cars and prop displays will be available to go throughout and see all the way throughout the day from start to finish.
Excellent. So it's basically a nice long day, whatever you want to do. And I assume, or at least I hope, there's going to be a decent after party afterwards, because
yes, all of the
you've set you've set the bar before. I want to make sure the bar's set this time as well.
I think we've actually got to find the bar from last time, so we can set it again. But yeah, we're working on it. It's another thing, that we've looked at and people enjoyed, and certainly this year again, it just completely popped and was so huge that we've been overwhelmed by the numbers that actually came along. So I appreciate it is a long day, and then it's obviously long into the night and all the costs involved with staying around, but the after show party, gives the fans the chance again to enjoy another side of the show itself. And I know the crew enjoyed it as to see the fans up close, and we had fans going up to the crew this year saying thank you so much for an amazing show, because these guys give all their time on the day, that weekend, just for the fans to work it. And some of them sit with guests throughout the day, some of them are on the front desk all day, some of them are on security, whatever it may be, and these guys do everything for you over the weekend. It's one of those, it takes over around about 4 days to set up around the actual show itself, so it's a great mix.
Yeah. And presumably it's a good way to widen down, both for the staff and for the guests as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I think wind down was a bit of a, I don't know if that was the right expression last year, but it was definitely something, and it was great to find. I think I rolled in there about 10:30 after finally settling everything down in the venue that night, but the gig was probably over by the time I got there. I think it was almost, but yeah, and I can confirm as well, we have, this was a popular vote online, we have more food vendors this year. You say this, you laugh, but
I enjoyed my hot dog.
It was brilliant. After I realised there was a huge queue again because of the numbers, but we've got many different food vendors coming to supply different wares. For example, we've got a lady who's going to come along. She has a mobile stone bake oven, and she creates the greatest pizzas I've ever tasted. And they will be selling, all across in between the campus, between the main signing hall and the talk venue. So,
well, I have a feeling they'll be selling like hot pizzas.
I thought they'll be selling like hot dogs.
Yes.
Not
well,
quite.
Sidestepping that incredibly dire pun, I do apologise. I mean, obviously that's all sounding really, really good. Like I say, I really, really enjoyed last time. A hell of a lot, and just sort of looking forward to next year as well. I mean, it's not even going to be a year between the two events. That's obviously how keen you guys are, and I think probably how keen all your guests are going to be as well. I mean, if you have any plans, looking beyond next year, looking beyond next April, do you have any sort of more sort of overarching or widespread plans at all?
Is this you asking for a seat yourself, Steve, to do some signings?
Well, you never know. I mean, I'm available. I'm very cheap as well, and I'm desperate for the money, and I'm desperate for the work. So, please do include me whenever you want. I'll sign anything for any amount of money, basically, as all my fans will know. But no, aside from that, we can talk about that in private. But obviously, in the long term, in the next, say, 5 years or so, I mean, what do you see this the Wales Comic Con becoming?
Well, I mean, we always set out with a plan, which was to just run great events, and we've done that so far, I think, and it shows testament with not only the guests that we're getting to the show now, but again, just the numbers of people that arrived and from, how far they travelled. So we want to look at doing multiple events a year and then sort of branch out into maybe other aspects, whether it's other conventions elsewhere in the UK, whether it's themed events, whether it's smaller events in sort of smaller venues such as a hotel or anything like that. We want to get to the point where we're confident enough to go and run an event that we're aware of and that we have knowledge about, and again that we know the fans want to see. So you've got to get that right balance, and again you've got to do it at the right time. And I think currently it's the right time for events like the Comic Cons, the conventions in your arenas and places like that, where you go pay your entry and meet who you want to meet because of the way things are. But never say never in terms of the future. We did try previously with a few other events, and we've worked around the country, sort of taking guests to smaller events in sort of shopping centres and stuff. But we want to do what's right for the fans, and of course just whatever they want, we always listen to.
Absolutely, I know that too well.
Yes, definitely.
Excellent. Oh, well, thank you very much for both of your time. Basically, it's been a pleasure talking to both of you and hearing more about the event, all the sort of juicy gossip and details. I don't know if you have. Well, do you have anything else that you'd like to sort of mention or say that I haven't covered with any of my questions at all? Either of you?
Well, I did say I promised a few guys on Twitter and Facebook that if they send suggestions in, we would maybe address them in terms of guests. I'm not sure if that's something we can address now, or
let's have a look what responses we have. Really,
we've got a few on Twitter. Molly wants to see Eve Miles. Seems to be quite a popular theme. We've got David Tennant, John Barrowman. Becky wants to see either of them. There's a love sandwich for you, Steve. Kelly wants to see
I'll be the
Supernatural.
filling.
Supernatural and Walking Dead would be like the greatest ever. I couldn't agree more with you, to be honest, Kelly. I love both shows, and my partner Ash has got me addicted to Supernatural. Shamefully, I love the Winchester brothers.
No, you're not alone there.
That's good. I'm glad of that one. Thank goodness. If we go to the Facebook, we've got a few people that want. Firefly's a popular one in here. Pete wants to see Nathan Fillion, Amelia Clark. That's a good one, Pete. Who else we got? Nicholas Brendan, Jay, August Richards, Sarah wants to see anyone from the Whedonverse. I think you'll be behind that one again, Steve.
Whedonverse is good by me and probably by a lot of other people who are listening to this.
I've got to say, I actually quite like Pete's other suggestions here. Felicia Day, I'm a bit of a nerd, so that would be great. She's been in a few films and TV. She does her own little podcast and things. And Sarah Wayne Callies, she's the girl from The Walking Dead. She plays Laurie, Rick's wife in that. I think
she was in Prison Break as well, wasn't she?
She was. She was the doctor in Prison Break, yeah.
And so was John Billingsley last year. He was in Prison Break. Did you not know?
I did not know.
I never recognised him without his Star Trek makeup on. I actually said this to him on the day. I was like, he came in and says, "Oh yes, we're here to do some signings." And I said, "And your name, please?" John Billingsley. I do not recognise you without your makeup on. Wow, I'm so sorry.
And just for the Red Dwarf fans, just to confirm, we've spoken to all the guys. We're trying to piece something together fantastic for you all, and a few surprises along the way. That's all I can say for now, and we're waiting to get commitments back from them. So yes, look out for that one, because I know Red Dwarf has been massive over the years with us, and we shall continue to support it forever and ever, because I've been a fan since day dot. So to be honest, Red Dwarf is one of my favourite things about the Comic Con that we do. I grew up with that show. I know a few of my friends have as well, and it's like looking at a family member that doesn't actually know you. It's a bit weird to explain, but I absolutely love having those guys there. They're total gens.
Well, I met them and they are total hoots. They're absolutely brilliant people. So I'm looking forward. If you can wangle some magic up Jay and Dave, then we're looking forward to seeing them and everything else that goes on the 28th of April. Yeah, I mean, unless you have anything else to say, I think that's probably about it from me.
I think Jay's covered it for me.
Yeah, I think Dave's covered it for all of us, but we're also going to put, just so you know, guys, more early bird tickets are available this year. We tried it out for the first time, obviously in 2012, because we'd never done it before, and they sold out, so we're going to get more of them on sale. And again, it beats the queues, which I know you're all aware of, so we're going to try and crush that. And yeah, more of them will be available.
Early bird tickets, that gets you in half an hour early, is that right?
That gets you in an hour early. You get in...
A whole hour? Okay.
Yes, 10 o'clock. You get in before everyone else. First of all, obviously, you beat the queues throughout the day. You get your wristband there and then. And obviously, you're in the hall before everyone else. You get to meet the guests, see all the stalls and everything else before anyone else gets in there.
Oh.
Juicy temptation at its best.
I think we've already sold temptation. One.
Yeah, you sold definitely at least one here straight away. Anyway, it's been a pleasure chatting to both of you, and again, thank you very much for your time. And everyone on my channel, at least, please do head to the website. I believe it's still www.walescomiccon.com. I will post it as a description to this video, and yeah, I hope to see some of you there, because I will definitely be there for the whole day. So yeah, anyway, it's goodbye from me.
I suppose that's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from them and me, I guess.
We do have 1-2 Ronnie's fan in this mumble chat. That's good. That's good. Excellent. Well, cheers very much, guys.